Okay. All right, the Grand Rapids Town Board is meeting today, Wednesday, April 10th, 2024 at 6 p.m. at the Town of Grand Rapids Municipal Building. First, we'll start with the public hearing. Conditional use permit request for the property located on parcel number 0700173A, located at 1421 48th Street North in the Town of Grand Rapids, Wisconsin. The conditional use permit requested is to allow for operation of a wild game animal butchering business at 1421 48th Street North. Then I will ask 3 times if there's anyone here wishing to speak in favor of. Sure.
At 2521 Blueberry Lane. I don't have anything to say against it, so I'll be in favor of it.
Okay. All right, anyone wishing to speak in favor? Anyone wishing to speak in favor? Okay. Anyone wishing to speak against? Okay. Anyone wishing to speak against? And anyone wishing to speak against? Okay. With that then, we'll close the public hearing. All right, and we can start with a pledge of allegiance. Pledge of allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, second agenda item then is to approve agenda for a meeting. Any questions or concerns about the agenda? Okay. Agenda item number 3, approve minutes of the March 13th, 2024 Town Board meeting.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes as presented.
Joe Clendenny, I'll second.
Okay, any discussion? All right, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, fourth agenda item is public comment. People wishing to address the board will be limited to 2 minutes each, with public comment limited to a total of 30 minutes. Sure.
Greg Maziner, 2710 Grand Forest Drive. I just would like to tell the fire department, thank you for the great Easter egg hunt. You guys put in a lot of time and effort on a day off or when they should be doing something with their families. It was kind of chilly day, but they did an awesome job out there with the kids. I was out there with my grandkids. It was a lot of fun. And also on the brat fry, I thought it was a good idea. Too bad the weather wasn't a little better. Maybe scared some people away, but hopefully you did well doing that. I thought it was a good idea for the public to be over there to see our fire department and stuff. So good job to the fire department on those things. Thank you.
Okay. Any other public comment?
Roger Dillon, 4520 Black Forest Drive. Is there going to be any allowed comments, public comments on your going through your points? Because there's a lot of information that comes out of this meeting when you're talking about a decision that you're going to approve or not, and we don't know a lot of that information until you're going through it. And so for us not being able to comment on it at that when you're about to approve it, it kind of doesn't make sense to have a comment period ahead of time and one at the end, because all the business is done then. So is that something you can comment on, or?
Not during town board.
Okay. In addition to that, I guess when we're talking about the options on our 45th Avenue, I guess I'd like to, when we were going through that in the various meetings, a lot of the public comments were just throwing out items. Hey, we could try this, we could try this, we could try this. I don't know if most of the people here necessarily believe we have to do everything and all the proposals that we offer. So I would be more in favor of us doing a step process where, say we reduce the speed limit to 25 and see how, open it back up, see how that goes. If that solves the problem of everybody zipping through, then that solves it. If it doesn't, then you can maybe implement stop sign, changing that. One of the concerns I have actually is that you put that stop sign there and that you can only fit like 3 cars off that intersection. And you're gonna create a traffic jam out on the highway. So it's just some thoughts.
Any other public comment?
Javier Cipriano,
Oh, sorry.
2610 Blueberry Lane.
Oh, what was your name, sir?
Javier Cipriano.
Thank you.
I just want to comment on the parking lot we talked about last time we were here. I think there should be put a pause to it, or maybe wait a little bit longer to do that till it's planned the right way, or there's more people involved in it. It was mentioned that in the future, near future, we were gonna need a new building. So with that in play, I think that should be taken into consideration. Where's the new parking lot gonna be? Drainage, all that stuff. I'm not sure how we go about putting a pause to it. I'm not against it, but let's get it done the right way the first time.
Thank you.
I agree with the gentleman up front there. I think you should go in steps. First up, I don't think anything would have had to have been done to open up 45th Street. I think we should have opened it to see how it's going. But if we want to open it with steps, like you said, 25 miles per hour, and then wait and see how that goes, and if the stop signs, that's another option. I would also agree with Javier on the parking lot. I also noticed in one of these agenda items that there is consideration of possible action on bidding out purchase of gravel. So that means we have to buy more gravel. Maybe we wouldn't have to buy as much if we didn't use our so-called free gravel for the parking lot. So just wanted to bring that up also.
Can you state your name for the
Oh, I'm
record?
sorry, Penny Sherrier, 2450 Mulberry Circle.
Thank you.
Jim Kaleski, 2620 Blueberry. If you permanently close that 45th over here, that intersection on Wazeecha Avenue and 48th Street, when you're coming from the north, turning to the west, should be fixed. It's too sharp of a turn. It's beyond 90 degrees. Therefore, you'd have to locate a light pole, a sign pole, buy property to make an intersection similar to the east side of 48th and Wazeecha. That's my opinion. If you don't do, if you open that up, you wouldn't have to do that.
Any other public comment? Okay. All right, agenda item number 5, monthly reports from the departments, and we'll start with the fire department.
Good evening, board and residents. Our report for March 24. We're currently staffed with 44 members, but we're always looking for motivated individuals for fire and EMS. Our calls for the month, we had a busy month. We had 47 calls for service. We had 29 EMS calls compared to 22 at this time frame last year. We had 18 fire calls compared to 10 this time last year. Those fire calls consisted of 4 structures / alarms, 6 mutual aids, 2 motor vehicle accidents, 5 wildland brush calls, and 1 carbon monoxide. The breakdown, there was 8 calls in Grand Rapids, 4 in Saratoga, 0 in Grant, and 6 mutual aid calls. The mutual aid calls were from Clover, Rome, Adams, Marshfield, and Wisconsin Rapids. Training for the month consisted of, we were very busy as well. EMS night, we did lifting techniques, stretchers, stair chairs, scoop stretchers, mega movers, etc., basically patient moving. Fire, we did pumps, fill sites, and did a full evolution in the evening session. Some of the officers, myself, Captain Cook, and Captain Swikowski, spent a day up at Stevens Point taking a class on pride and ownership from Chief Rick Lasky. He's a nationally renowned fire chief. I myself took the 8-hour mental health first aid certification class at Midstate. It was an 8-hour classroom, and then there was a bunch of pre-work online. That's for recognizing mental health issues amongst your staff. We did a bunch of DNR training. I took a bunch of the captains and lieutenants up to the DNR Wildland Zone Supervisor Training, March 12th in Plover. and that was myself, Captain Cook, Lieutenants Wallach and Boutnick. On March 28th, Chief Roosh and myself went down to Watoma for the DNR Structure Branch training in Watoma. I don't know if it's training related. I also accompanied the Wood County SISM team last month, and our Wood County SISM team went and did a debrief at the Hatfield Fire Department for everybody in Clark County that was in that horrible crash over there. So we had one monthly department meeting, 3 training meetings, 1 officer meeting. As previously stated, we did a bunch for public relation in March. We hosted a 2-day Versity blood drive on the 20th and 21st. 42 donors, created 106 blood products. We hosted our 46th annual Easter egg hunt on Saturday, March 30th at Midstate Tech. Thanks to all the area merchants and private donors, it was a great success. We put in smoke detectors in 6 houses this month, and address signs, there's 4 in queue. The park signage program is 90% complete. If you go around the park now, you'll see at every one of those parking lots, there's a descriptor sign that lets you know what the numerical value is of that parking area you're in. So, the safety department, we had 0 injuries to report for the month of March. Any questions from the board? All right. Oh, should I? Ron?
Okay.
Oh. Hey, Ron.
Oh, thanks. On February 1st, I was watching WSAW, and there's Wausau Chief Jeremy Kopp.
Oh, yeah, well, yep, he's the new chief in Wausau, yep.
Okay, and I don't know if he was fire, ambulance, or whatever, but he was talking about a new dispatch system that they had there, an automatic dispatch system that he predicted was going to save him 30 seconds on a call. He finished that up by saying the department's total response time saw a noteworthy drop of 12 seconds. While seemingly small, this reduction can have a significant impact, particularly in critical situations. Do we track response times? Do you?
Absolutely, yep.
Okay.
So, yeah, I don't know if that's a direct CAD thing. I know sometimes we get our call over our I Am Responding screen. We use a app called I Am Responding. Sometimes we'll start getting the call information before our pagers even popped.
Okay.
So, but yeah, I track.
How we doing?
We're
doing
with the
good.
staff we have, we're doing good. This isn't the 90s when we had
I think
20 people within 5 blocks of here.
Okay.
You know, we used to roll 3 trucks in 5 minutes back in those days, but with the staff we got, we're doing as good as we can do.
Okay,
That's
thank you.
every department's scrapping for manpower right now. That's why Mavis and Mutual Aid and Auto Aid is where it is today. So, any other questions? Okay.
Thank you. Thank you, Bob.
Yep.
Great, and police department?
Good evening, everyone. Okay, for the month of March, Grand Rapids Police Department handled 458 calls for service. This compares to 387 calls for service during March of 2023. So that's about an 18.3% increase in calls. And board members have a breakdown of those calls. It's also end of March, first quarter of the calendar year. So for the first 3 months of 2024, the Grand Rapids Police Department handled 1,244 calls for service, and that compared to 1,034 calls for service the same period last year. That's about a 20.3% increase in calls. The Police Department issued 77 traffic citations, 7 municipal ordinance citations, and 37 written warnings in the month of March. On March 15th, I attended the spring legislative breakfast at Midstate Technical College. It was a great opportunity to hear from our state legislators, local community officials, and other government officials regarding topics affecting our local community. Breakfast was hosted by the Heart of Wisconsin Chamber of Commerce. On March 28th, I attended the North Central Chiefs of Police Association meeting at UW Stevens Point campus. Meeting was hosted by UW Stevens Point Chief Babel and was well attended by police chiefs from north central Wisconsin. The guest speaker was FBI Special Agent Eric Burns. He's a crisis response coordinator for Wisconsin for the FBI. He provided information and discussed crisis response assets that are available from the FBI for local law enforcement agents in the event of a crisis. Could be either, nature or man-made. His presentation was very informative and well received by everyone in attendance. Vehicles are in the department doing well outside of normal maintenance. And once again, feel free to stop by my office if you have any concerns, questions, or just want to chat. Questions? All right, thank you.
Thank you, Mel.
All right, then treasurer report.
Okay, for March of 2024, our checking account has a balance of $105,000.20. Our repo account has a $445,235.10 balance. The money market at Prevail has a balance of $337,191.99. Our tax account has a balance of $722.60. The tax repo account has a balance of $2,921.04 for a total of $891,070.93. Our outstanding checks are $61,485.96. So our total cash on hand, $829,584.97. And then we still have our ARPA fund with a balance of $498.83, and that is all earmarked.
Thank you. All right, agenda item number 6, consideration and possible action on resolution 2024-04, Ann's Wild Game Butchering LLC by Ann Borski requests a conditional use permit to allow for operation of a wild game butchering business at 1421 48th Street North in the town of Grand Rapids, Wisconsin. Parcel number 0700173A in section 10, township 22 North, range 6 East, Wisconsin Rapids, Wisconsin.
Is the applicant present?
Not that I'm aware of, but I don't know.
Here. I can make a motion to approve resolution 2024-04.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. All right, agenda item number 7, consideration and possible action on resolution 2024-05, amending ordinance 3, regulating solid waste and recycling to align language relating to curbside collection with the current contracted process.
Can you explain what those are a little bit?
Those were explained at legislative.
Can I can
Yeah.
just give a real brief background. So this came out of legislative as a referral to the town board as a recommended approval. It relates, this particular item relates to the removal of some language that related to bags, since we've now changed to our single stream garbage and recycling collection.
So would it affect us as we put our recycling and stuff out?
No.
So one of the things I'd like to point out before we make a motion is part of the preparation of materials for curbside collection. There is a statement that says the size, weight, and number of the bags and containers. I would like to see that actually striked from this resolution, because we no longer have to deal with weight limitations or number of bags. And the containers are all uniform as far as 96-gallon carts.
So you're looking to strike the entire sentence, or just taking out bags and whatnot?
So
Yeah.
Can-
Go
can
ahead,
you-
Nick.
So based
Yeah.
off of that, I think maybe you would change it to read, "The size and number of containers shall not exceed the limits set in the town's current waste removal contract."
Thank you.
I'll second that amendment.
Okay. Any discussion? All right, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. All right, agenda item number 8, consideration and possible action on resolution 2024-06, amending ordinance 29, regulating fermented malt beverages and intoxicating liquor to incorporate Wisconsin statute chapter 125 provisions. Numerous changes recommended after 2023 Act 73. Adjustment to category 2 screening requirements and language related to continuation of business while maintaining a license. Is that a motion?
I can make a motion to approve Resolution 2024-06, Ordinance 29, regulating fermented malt beverages as recommended from the Legislative Committee.
I'll second it.
Any discussion? All right, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, agenda item number 9, consideration and possible action on resolution 2024-07, amending ordinance 10, regulating, or regulation of speed limits, reducing the speed limit on Wazeecha Avenue from Blueberry Lane to 48th Street South from 35 miles per hour to 25 miles per hour.
Madam Chair, if I could just
Yep.
provide just one piece of information as it came from the Legislative Committee. There was a reference at Legislative to a missing provision in that ordinance related to a past action that we took with 48th Street. And so this has been corrected in the ordinance. It doesn't need to be reflected in the resolution, and we included the minutes where this was previously approved. So it's just building that language into the ordinance and it should, after you've approved it.
Is there a motion?
I guess I can make a motion to approve Resolution 2024-07, changing the speed limit to 25 miles per hour to the following streets of Lake Wazeecha Avenue to Blueberry Lane to North Park Road.
I'll second that.
Any discussion? Okay. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Opposed, Bill Clinton.
Okay. All right, agenda item number 10, consideration and possible action on adding a 3-way stop at 45th Street South and Wazeecha Avenue. Is there a motion?
For discussion purposes, I'll make a motion.
Okay. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, discussion? Bill?
Yeah, did you want discussion?
No, I have a cold, but I
Oh.
think we should talk about some of these things. That's why we're doing them, right? It was asked for in the public comments.
Well, it came from the recommendation of the Public Works, and from what I understand, that it was requested, or one of the suggestions was a 3-way stop at the 45th Street and Wazeecha Avenue. So, is there any,
If they open that back
Oh,
up,
I'm sorry,
sorry.
that's our discussion here, so.
So this would,
You'll get shot.
for discussion, doing the 3-way stop and the change to 25 miles per hour, this would open up 45th Street again. And to address the comment during public comment, the 3-way stop, we kind of talked about this already at a Public Works meeting as well, and if that becomes an issue where it's backed up, I think that raises another concern of a lot of people using Wazeecha Avenue. So I wouldn't anticipate if it's just those living in that area, there to be a backup. If there is, we could definitely address that at the time, but.
And the length of 45th Street is what, approximately 100 feet
100 feet.
is what Jason was saying. So with 100 feet, there'd be more than 3 cars that would be able to fit on that section as well.
I guess in looking at this, I'm going to kind of agree with Roger and kind of came to a lot of the same conclusions when I was kind of looking at this and talking to some residents. It hasn't really been a concern passed to the town to have a three-way stop at 45th and Wazeecha. As far as I know, there hasn't been accidents or issues at that intersection corner. And hopefully by slowing down both Kellner Road and Wazeecha, hopefully that takes care of any of the perceived issues. You've got, more bikers using that area. Hopefully that 25-mile-an-hour speed limit will kind of help with some of that. I did do a little looking, and at the stopping distances, I'm not a public works, I'm not a traffic study kind of person, but it seems like, if you're turning right, you don't have your line of vision in that area, and the distance that you need to stop, depending on miles per hour, is going to be probably between, again, just looking on the internet and kind of being the expert on that, around 60 to 80 feet. So if you have 2 cars there waiting, people waving each other through the three-way stops, you could be creating more of an issue than not having it. So I guess based on those concerns and in talking with other residents, I will be voting no on this.
I just have a little comment to that too. So part of the reason I'm going to vote yes to this is because I want to take into consideration the pedestrians and the bikers as well. And that is a little bit dangerous from them, that intersection, to be able to make that turn right there. So I think with that three-way stop, that will help in any future plans that we might have to have bike paths or whatever it might be, or for pedestrians to be able to cross that intersection a little more safely. So just looking at future conversations as well.
I agree with along those lines also with pedestrians and bikers. We did look at that intersection this morning, and there actually is stop bars that were painted there previously, and Mike would like to see those repainted if we approve stop signs. That would aid in like a newness to the area. We're not used to a stop sign there. Nice bright white stop bar will help in recognizing that stop sign. And to my knowledge, we already have 2 stop signs there already. The right turn, no stop from Wazeecha Ave to 45th, I believe, Mike, is illegal, correct?
That's what I keep getting told, yeah.
So.
What'd you say, Mike?
Illegal?
Yep, those signs are illegal. Right turn, no stop.
And ironically, there is a stop bar there. And
Yep. A little bit more. Roland Hawk called me late this afternoon after he got done talking with Mr. Bruns. He has it on record, some other things about that. There was 3 things that were recommended for that piece of road. One is it was right in, right out. One other thing was to do absolutely nothing with it and see what happened. The third thing was he has from Matt Bronson and the gal who's in charge of, he didn't send me her name, is in charge of traffic flow and studies and works out of the Rapids office. Both of them in writing, he has it recommended that it be closed. But he says if we're going to open it, he says I would also suggest, he says, the stop bars, he says, like you were suggesting, he says. And there is some other minor pavement stuff that should be fixed there. And we are on the list to get the county to help us, so that could be coming real quick. so do a little mastic, some fine, shallow cracks and stuff that are troublesome with potholes and stuff, so we're gonna put mastic in them.
Great. Any other discussion? Okay. Great. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Opposed.
Opposed?
Great. Agenda item number 11, consideration and possible action on bidding out purchase
Did
of
you just
gravel.
approve the three-way stop there?
Yes.
Thank you.
Yep.
Sorry.
That's okay. All right, agenda item number 11, consideration and possible action on bidding out purchase of gravel for road projects and stockpile.
So this is our normal bidding
Yes.
that we do every
Our
year.
normal annual
Yeah,
one.
Yeah. Okay, go ahead, Bill.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Is there a second?
I can second.
Okay, any discussion? All right, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? Agenda item number 12, consideration and possible action on bidding out for LRIP trip project for Washington Street.
This is the LRIP project that was approved like 4 years ago, that we were awarded, what was it, something like 186,000 or?
184.
186.
Okay, $186,000. So this is just our bid specifications that we're putting out so that we can get
Bids or quotes.
bids
yes.
quoted, so we can get this project
Yep.
done in that time frame.
Yep.
So I reviewed the bid specifications, and I'll go ahead and make that approval of submitting these bid specifications as presented.
I'll second.
Any discussion?
I was just wondering what our Public Works Committee, well, how you were involved in this? Because it comes, like 4 years ago, it came through the Towns Association, this LRIP program. Arnie Nystrom at that time entered it in, and he was on the LRIP, so probably not, huh?
No, when we took our road ride, we discussed it while we were on there. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Alright. Agenda item number 13, consideration and possible action on bids received for town equipment placed on the Wisconsin surplus auction site.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, any discussion?
We didn't get bids prior, and so this is the resubmit.
This was, to the
Yeah.
other
This
site.
is the
Yeah.
second,
Okay, thank you.
and we got more for it.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Good, good.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Agenda item number 14, consideration and possible action on proposed amendments to town personnel handbook relating to new hire pay increases, introductory periods, carryover of comp time over 80 hours, updated uniform allowance verbiage, and clarification of excluding vacation time from exemptions for overtime computation and comp sick vacation payout at resignation or retirement.
I can make a motion to approve the employee handbook as presented.
I'll second.
Any discussion?
And this was reviewed in our legislative with the whole board there in agreement, just as a comment.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Agenda item number 15, consideration and possible action on proposed amendments to town benefit plans policy to align language to be consistent with the employee handbook.
I'll make that motion to amend the amendments to the town benefit plans policy to align with the employee handbook.
I'll second that.
Any discussion?
again, this was covered at our legislative meeting.
Yep.
All right, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. All right, agenda item number 16, consideration and possible action on chairperson's appointments. I can speak to this a little bit. So there's not many changes. It's just so that Jeff is on some of the committees now after he's been elected.
I just want to make a comment that I'm glad that our 3 seats on our plan commission the members are still wanting to stay on and continue on being on the board or the commission. I was happy to see that.
Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the committee appointments as discussed or as presented.
I'll second.
Okay, any discussion? All right, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Yes, I am.
Oh, so,
All right, agenda item number 17 is March disbursement vouchers. Any questions? Okay. All right, agenda item number 18, operator license applications.
I'll make a motion to approve the 1-year operator's license application as presented.
I'll second the operator's license.
Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. And agenda item number 19, monthly reports from the committees. Public Works. Nothing in addition. Our discussion has already been on the agenda. Airport Commission.
The Airport Commission met April 4th. The master plan negotiations are finally complete. It is in the Bureau of Aeronautics hands now. Fuel sales, quite good for March. The airport purchased a full-size SUV for a courtesy and a transport vehicle, which they've been shopping for quite some time. It was approved by the commission. Security system, which was approved by the commission also, is set to be installed this week that we are in right now. Last fall, there was a lightning storm that come through and damaged quite a bit of electrical equipment on the airport grounds, mainly some entrance lighting and like strobe lighting for, I don't know the term right off the top of my head.
Runway lights?
The pilot turns the lights on as they approach. Those lights were damaged. Quite costly on its insurance claim. There's a $10,000 deductible that the airport has. They are actually having issues with inferior parts. The contractors actually stepped up to help out the airport per se, finding the right things and the better things, better parts. With the mayoral change, there will be a change in officers. We'd like to thank Mayor Blazer for his accomplishments and his dedication to the city of Rapids. And as a personal friend, I wish him the best in the future. And, next meeting is May 2nd, 2024.
All right, recycling, solid waste, and water.
It did not meet, so I'm planning on working with, making some more revisions on the current ordinance to bring that up to speed. So I haven't planned on a meeting date, but one will be coming.
Okay. And Plan Commission?
Yes, we met Monday night, and we reviewed a chicken permit, a dog permit, We reviewed our annual reports that for our annual meeting that's coming up. We also reviewed a quarterly report that we'd like to see of all the permits that are issued. We may go monthly, but we're working that out. And then also we reviewed the chicken permit requirements in the ordinance, so we're gonna take a look at that and see if it needs to have a little bit more updating.
All right, public buildings, we didn't meet, but Bill, when you're feeling better, we need to have a meeting. Legislative, anything in addition? No? Okay. All right, public safety,
Did not meet.
okay. Economic development, we have not met. Personnel, say nothing in addition to what was on here already. WTA meeting.
Okay, I'll try to get through this. WTA meeting was held March 15th, and it was held at the town of Cary. Wood County Deputy Susan was the speaker. And ATV, that's not me. In UTVs, they were talking about snowmobile regulations. State Representative Donna Rosar and John Spiros was there and talked about redistricting and how it's shared. And now in that district, they are in the same committee, so they'll have to run against each other, which made it very interesting. And Steve Dickerson, District 2 WTA Director, talked about LRIP awards and how they're going out this year and who's getting them. Roland Hawks was there from the Wood County Highway Commissioner. He will hold the annual road forum on April 11th at the Litchfield Town Hall. And I remember years ago, we used to go to those, and I would hope that people would go to that, because that's Roland Hawks does a good job, and April 11th, be there, please. And the next meeting will be on April 19th at the town of Camrose, and the speaker will be Wood County Sheriff Becker. And just to let you know that ours, I said, was going to be in June. And I don't know if you can come up with a speaker, but I'll talk to you later about who the town would like, different towns would like as a speaker. We've been trying to get this group in there for a while, and they all picked the sheriff or the highway commissioner, so that's it.
Okay. All right, reports from individual town board members. Joe,
I have nothing to report.
okay, Jason?
I know you need to have a public building meeting, but just would like to get the ball rolling for sign.
That's what it's for.
Okay, okay. That's all.
Patty?
Congratulations to Jeff and Bill for getting reelected.
Thank you.
I don't have anything.
Okay.
Madam Chair, if I could, I just want to give a brief update to the board. So you may be familiar with ARIP, is the acronym Agricultural Road Improvement. Just wanted to give you an update that on April 2nd, we did put in an application for ARIP, and the project location is Washington Street from 64th to 80th. You'll recognize that that is very close to where we're doing the LRIP project. For those that are not familiar with ARIP, ARIP is very similar to LRIP. It's a very limited in duration program. They have 2 rounds, at least that they've announced, of possible grant funding. The first round being the one that we submitted for. That deadline has passed now, so we did get in before the deadline. We should hear back from them by July of 2024. Just a general update on what we put in for with planning, design, engineering, and construction costs. The total estimated cost of the project is $585,000. ARIP is a unique program in that it is up to 90% that is funded. That's a significant amount of funding. So if we are selected, that would mean $526,500 that we would potentially be awarded there. If we are selected, what will happen is we will receive an award letter from them, and it will be up to the town as to whether you accept the award or not. So you will still have the opportunity to review that, decide if you want to budget for that. We have time to plan for that project and budget for it, but it is a very significant amount. If we don't get the award, we can put in the fall, which is a larger project, a larger award pot that can be awarded, but there will also likely be more applicants as well. So just wanted to give everybody an update that we did put in for that. Should hear back by July.
Can I add one more thing? I just want to say thank you for Mike and Nick. They put an immense amount of work into this, this project. So if, I know you guys had to fit it in already with your busy schedule, but I just want to say thank you so much for all your extra hard work on that.
Likewise.
Yep, great. Okay. Agenda item number 21, public input. People wishing to address the board will be limited to 2 minutes each, with public input limited to a total of 16 minutes.
Just make sure you state your name and address too if you do speak, please.
Runs 4720 Falcon Court. I consider myself a lifelong learner. I've been in education most of my life. I can say since the closure of 45th Street, I've learned a great deal. I've learned that I can learn through a Babbel app, foreign language, faster than this board can open up a road. I also have learned the names and personalities of the board members here. And I have to be honest, I'm a bit embarrassed because I voted for all of you, and I didn't even know who you were. If you and I had crossed paths at Walmart, I wouldn't have known you. Maybe Jewel in the office when she previously worked there, but the rest of you, short of the fact of Bill, who I have to compliment, comes to my door every election cycle, knocks on my door, and actually acts like he wants to know my opinion about the town in which I live. And for that, I commend him. I've learned the personalities of the board members sitting in these meetings since December trying to open up 45th Street. I think it's pretty clear who is listening to the residents of Blueberry and Black Forest, and those who might be listening more carefully to their department heads that you have. I would reference a phone call that I had with one of the board members who said, point blank, I'm going to listen to my guy. I've got his back. That offended me, quite honestly, and that comment just said, I wonder who has my back. Because I am the one, along with the other residents of Black Forest and Blueberry, who have elected you. And probably one of the eye-openers that I had when this whole started was, who reached out to us? Who called Blueberry or who called Black Forest and asked us a question about that road closure that is pretty, the road must be about as old as I am, okay? Been there a long time. And I was offended just to find on your website, road closed until further notice. Sorry for the inconvenience. You know, that didn't hold water with me. That, I believe, was blindsiding the people in these two subdivisions. And when I questioned it, with one of the board members. They said, well, you know, we've been talking about this redesign of W and that intersection. And I think that there was a resident at one of our meetings, and I'm sure that that was Ron, and probably Ron because he has some background with DOT. But nobody else that I found in my subdivision of Black Forest, and I'm guessing in Blueberry, got a phone call, got a reach out. I can tell you from my experience in the school business, our school board members in Wisconsin Rapids, they reach out to people, okay? They pick up the phone and call people that they know, and they want their opinion, and they want their background before they make a decision that's going to impact hundreds of the kids in our school district. I am sure that you get phone calls, but I would be thrilled, and I'll give you my phone number if you'd like to pick up the phone and ever give me a call about a question in the town, and just ask for my personal opinion. And I can reference other people that I know that maybe you might want to call to make that call. I've spoken with Roland Hawk twice. This is on the town, okay? It's not on the county, the closure of that road. My shirt kind of says it all. You break it, you own it. And you own it, quite honestly. The closure of that road, not the county. The county was involved with the redesign of the intersection, but we know that the right turn in and the island and all of that didn't move forward, which quite frankly, I don't understand why that was even part of the discussion. So here's the real deal. I've been involved with board meetings for over 40 years and served on some myself, okay? And I am sure that when you look out here, you see more empty chairs usually than filled ones. You probably see 3 filled with your department heads, because they're required to be here. But unless it's a hot button issue, my guess is you probably don't have many people sitting in these chairs. It's not that the people don't care. So when you see an empty chair, doesn't mean we don't care. It means we are uninformed. We don't. Although your agendas, I can tell you from this point on, will be monthly on Blueberry and Black Forest webpage, so that people in these 2 areas do know what your items coming forward are. But I would encourage you to ask yourself, how are we keeping our residents informed? You have some kind of ridiculous committee meeting minutes. Go to your website and check all of your committees and see how many agendas are there missing the minutes. So I can't even find out what it was that was discussed unless your chairperson does the minutes, hangs on to them, gives them to the office as a draft, but it's just a draft, because the committee's got to approve them before they're even brought before you as a board. I'd suggest you look at the committee structure of the school district's board, how they deal with their committee minutes, and how quickly they get them to the full board for discussion, review, approval. That's the way that you should be working it. My last suggestion is this. Why don't you take some of our money that we've saved in snow plowing or salt and do a little pilot? Because we did a 6-month pilot on the closure of 45th Street. And why don't you do this? think about maybe offering that nice lady in the office that you have $20 an hour to come to your committee meetings and take notes. And then have that person work with the committee chair to get those minutes published and hopefully approved in a time-sensitive manner with you. And if that nice young lady doesn't want $20 an hour, then why don't you advertise in our town for some retired secretary who might just have an interest in helping the town, and see if you can employ that person. I'll finish by saying this. I respect boards, always have, work closely with them. I respect your 3 department heads and the feedback that they give you as a board, just like the department heads in a school district provides for our school board of directors. But that isn't where it stops. It has to take into consideration the people who tonight, I'm guessing most are here because of item number 9 or 8 and 9 or 7 and whatever it was on the 2 particular items. I respect boards. I thank you and the department heads for your time and your efforts. I would like to go on record, I do not respect the way that that 45th Street was closed, and I do not respect the time that residents here have continued to come to your meeting to get to the point tonight, finally, that you're reducing the speed, which has been there for a long time, and I was told that was part of the closure, was people were speeding. Well, look at your speed limit and your stop signs, which I think is debatable tonight. You heard from some people on how they felt about the stop signs. I appreciate your efforts. I certainly do. I hope that you learn something. The only other thing that I need to learn tonight, and I am hard of hearing, I'm an old guy in the back row. I should be in church sitting in the front row. But I would like to know, when is that road being opened? Okay, we're reducing the speed. I can give you a Sharpie to do something on the stop sign. And if you need an extra stop sign, I bet there's one in somebody's garage in our town as well. But those barricades went up very quickly. And I am hopeful that those barricades go down as quickly as they were put up. Thank you.
Sure.
Should have cut him off, he took too much time. Wonderful. Ron Hatt again, 2521 Blueberry Lane. Remember the word emergency? Nobody said emergency. Why did you close it? You took away all our emergency access. Nobody really cared, I don't think. It wasn't in anybody's mind, you know. Here's some facts. On 12/19/23, 45th Street was closed. Prior to that, our neighborhood Blueberry Lane experienced numerous ambulance responses. United Med wouldn't give Sandy, my wife, that number, but she suggested that the board members could probably find, or the chief of police or somebody could probably find out, or Mike. Did anybody do that? Probably not. I don't know. On 12/29/23, 10 days later, after it was closed, we had an ambulance response to the subdivision. On 3/2/24, 64 days later, had another ambulance response to the subdivision. It came with 7 first responders. Man, I mean, they were there, you know, but it took them longer to get there. How long does it take to get to do that detour? On November 15th, 23, the Public Works Committee minutes says they guessed at 25 to 30 seconds. United Ambulance staff says 30 seconds. Grand Rapids staff says 20 seconds. I drove it with my vehicle, it took me a minute and 28 seconds. I was picking up the mail one day and I heard an ambulance coming east on W, so I timed them from the time they went by 45th Street to the time they went through the roundabout and came down here by Wazecha. That took them 48 seconds. So you add another whatever to get to from Main Street to Blueberry Lane. You know, I'm just gonna take a shot at that. That's 60 seconds. So it's 60 seconds coming, it's 60 seconds going, you know. The question I asked Bob before was loaded. With a track time, response time. I counted the conflicts. And whether you take the detour or whether you take County Trunk W, 48th Street and County Trunk W. How many streets, how many public entrances, how many commercial entrances. If you take County Trunk W, there's 23 conflicts. If you take Wazecha Avenue, there's 17. It's safer to go on Wazecha. Less conflicts. Surprise. Thank you. Now, yeah, what are we going to do? What's the schedule? When are we going to open this thing? Or what's the process here?
Sir, did you have a comment? Someone at the end.
Mike? It don't take long to get them barricades and blocks out of there. You told me that. You could probably have that done by 9 o'clock tonight.
Give me half
When you ask him a question, he answers.
What's holding it up? What hoop do you gotta jump through yet?
Sure.
I guess to put on again. Are you guys not allowed to answer questions, or how does that work?
Supposed to, yeah.
You're not supposed to?
Yeah.
We're advised not to,
Yeah.
So when can we get our answers to our questions?
at the polls when you vote.
I'm being serious, I mean.
I am too.
No, this is an agenda item on the agenda. We're asking questions related to an agenda item. If anybody wanted to come, they ain't missing nothing. You know, if they come here, they'd be talking about that agenda item. It ain't gonna be a surprise to them.
And then what do you guys do with, like, what we're talking about, what we're asking? Do you get together and meet about it, or how does that work? Again, no answer, you can't answer that, right? So, I'm gonna
Attorney, it's over 2
Told them not to
minutes.
answer
and
questions to the attorney?
Enough, so.
The town attorney, they shouldn't answer questions?
During public comment, they can ask clarifying questions, they can refer it to staff, they can refer it to a committee. That's, with limited exceptions, they do respond in some points with the public. It's happened. I suspect they're hearing comments and maybe will respond to when they're going to open after the comments.
Well, that was already asked and it wasn't answered, right?
After comments, they can.
Oh, after
It's
that?
an agenda
Okay.
item you're talking about.
Yeah,
After the
well,
comments, agenda item.
with an agenda item, if the chair wants to recognize somebody that provides input, they can do that on an agenda item. The issue is if it's not an agenda item, then it would be improper to have a discussion on an item that is not noticed, because there might be other people that want to know those kind of
Do
questions.
you agree this isn't, what we're talking about here is on the agenda?
Yeah.
Okay, so they can talk about it.
So I think the question that we're having, or at least my question is, when I read your two agenda items, okay, they didn't say enough to me, okay? They said, reduce the speed. We talked about that at your committee meeting. And I don't know, Amber, if your item here connects with what the resolution was when we met, but I can tell you that the impression that I had from the committee meetings was, okay, we're moving this forward, where you generated the suggestions, stop sign, reduced speed. It didn't happen as fast as the residents in these two subdivisions who said, why isn't it open now? Okay, and if I look at your two resolution items tonight, you're telling us the reduction of speed and the stop signs, but you didn't write it correctly to me, to us, that said, we're opening it up tomorrow, okay? Which is only a few months later than people would have said in February or January when we started this slow walk, okay? That parking lot will never be completed if you put it in the same time frame that this opening of the road is.
They started already.
I know, you threw gravel out there already. It's kind of pick and shoot. So I do have to say, your resolution, the way you wrote it, or your agenda items, the way you wrote them, were to take two suggestions from your committee and put them there. But you're still standing on the fact that if my months are correct, it's not opening until June. Because that's what you originally had. We were going to study it. We were going to look at it. And then as a group of individuals, we raised our concerns. And then we got into the slow turn of committee, feedback, all that jazz. And I think the residents here, at least I can speak for myself, felt like we've been doing all the right things. Coming to your meetings, giving you public comment, public input to your committees, and now we want the road open. Okay? It's not rocket science, but by your agenda, and I would agree with you, Mr. Nick, by the agenda, it's the speed and it's the stop sign. And I'll make one more comment, and I know that you would all love me to go away. I don't want this town sued because of a medical emergency that Ron had. And I'm assuming, Mr. Nicholas, that you've advised the board that they have some liability here. Because we've been attending meetings, asking for an opening of a road, presenting time, presenting ambulance calls. And I do want to tell you that one of my neighbors said, "You're darn right. If there was a medical emergency at my home and it was impacted because of that road being closed, they would sue somebody with deep pockets." And I think our money market in 300,000 or whatever says we got a deep pocket here in the town. So I don't know how you go about it, and I think that's what this gentleman is asking, is how do you talk about it? Because you haven't opened that road yet.
I mean, we could
Okay,
simply put
Madam
it in.
Chair,
Yeah,
I'd like to point out
gonna
16 minutes is over.
I want
long
to give you guys
ago.
an opportunity to speak, so I didn't cut you off. But I think we can address this a little bit. Basically, my understanding is as soon as the stop sign can go in and the speed limits, that's in effect because we approved it tonight. Is that correct, Mike? It's based on timeline. You guys are able to get that up?
Yeah, that we can, the bars can get painted after that. We may have temporary closures for that, but, and the mastic putting in, so, but I would say within a day or two, a couple days, so.
Okay.
Um,
All right.
Just a FYI, according to the state of Wisconsin Department of Transportation, their manual on uniform traffic control devices, right turn at a stop, no stop is approved. It's not illegal. You know, you have to jump through some hoops to get it put in the first place, do some surveys like we did for the speed limit, but it's an approved sign, it's not an illegal sign.
Okay, I think we're definitely over our time, so
Don't
we're
you want more
gonna.
feedback?
We
had
voted
16
on
minutes.
that.
I think it's only been 10 minutes. Did you mark
I mean,
down
you
when
would
it
cut
was?
us off on a time limit? Is this not good conversation, good feedback for?
Well, absolutely, but we voted on the agenda item already, so we can't change that piece of it.
What agenda item?
The 25 miles per hour and the three-way stop.
I got a comment on public comment.
16 minutes has
16 minutes has been at the bottom.
And that's on the agenda.
And Jewel said the time was out, and I understand that, but I know that has been
What time did we start?
considered before.
I got something I'd like to address the board with too, is not with the road or anything.
14 minutes to 7 is when we start.
I mean, are you guys really gonna cut this conversation off in a kind of a time limit thing?
We could have board
Not a good,
meetings at
not a good deal.
I don't think you can go. It won't cut it off.
For what it's worth, that right turn, no stop, if you're coming out of Blueberry Lane, you see the back sign of a stop sign, and you see a sign below it. You have no idea what it is, except you know a stop sign is that shape. And everybody in Blueberry Lane knows that sign below it says, right turn, no stop. Somebody that don't live on Blueberry Lane, when they're coming out of there, and they see a car coming west on Wazecha, they don't know that car's got a right to turn, or has an opportunity to turn right with no stop. They have no idea.
I'll make a comment about that myself. Kevin Bredlow from 2440 Mulberry Circle. You have a police officer right here. If you pull out in front of that car, you're at fault for if that car hits you, because he's got that right of way, because that sign is there. I don't know how many times I'm going to leave there, turn signal on, the other car washes you through, I'll turn my turn signal off and I'll go straight. The other option is here, I had mentioned before about the people in their bikes coming through there. If you're gonna open that road up, I don't know where you got all these cement blocks from. You don't even have to haul them away, just take them over the counter and put them up on that corner, keep them bikes from coming through there. So to eliminate the accident from someone running someone over on a bike.
Bikes have a right.
Okay, I'll take one more comment from you, and then I do have to cut it off.
Okay, my comment is just basically on how the meeting is run in general. I appreciate everybody takes their time to be on the board. I know it's not an easy job or anything like that, but when you guys put things on here, I'll just use a couple of agenda items, like purchasing gravel. It doesn't say, you guys approved it, but you didn't say we're gonna get so many yards, so many tons, what's our thing, how many tons do we have? There's no discussion. We as public don't know what you're talking about. We heard some number for this other action item, $186,000, but we don't see or hear any of the stuff that we're spending money on or doing. I've been to a lot of different town board meetings with doing bids and doing this. I hear town board say, I make a motion to approve this many tons of gravel. We have this much in our budget to do it. Is that gonna make it work? Is this, okay, we need to cut it back, we need to do that. So we as town people know, hey, we're looking at buying this much gravel, or we're looking at buying new signs, we're doing this. As far as same as sending people to seminars, I think it's great that our people go to seminars, but I've been to a lot of public board meetings where somebody will say, I make a motion to send Mike to a public works thing for $250. He's gonna use his own vehicle, we're gonna reimburse him for gas up to $100. So that we know what's going on in our town, and we can read it in the minutes, we can't make it to a meeting. All this is done to me is to come to more town board meetings to see what I can learn for information on how my tax dollars are being spent, but I don't get any information, and then we ask questions, we can't ask questions because nobody can answer them, so then I have to call board members on when they're playing with their kids or doing something. I don't want to do that. I want to be able to find the information out while I'm here, how this works. I think we should also have a public works instead of the the fire chief and the police chief do it, I think we should have a public works tell us what's going on. If we had any accidents, what we're working on, the town roads and that, so people know what's going on in our town. Mike can get up and say, hey, we're working on this street, we're doing this is what we had budgeted, this is outside of our budget, so we know what's going on. I asked somebody about the parking lot. Well, we kind of talked about it in the budget meeting, but I don't know if we really have a budget item for it, but it was talked about. We don't know if we have it budgeted. I've got a number put together what it's gonna cost. Nobody seems to care how much it's gonna cost. If it costs us $60,000 to put a parking lot in for 40 stalls, is that a good idea for our town? I wanna go to the next Public Works and see if that's even out there. Do we have a budget for what's going on with that? Don't see that. We approved it, but what's the budget for? You know, it should have said, I make a motion that we spend this much dollars on gravel for a parking lot. It just says, we'll just put gravel in. Well, how much gravel are we putting in? The way I look at it right now, we're taking a foot of topsoil out there, putting a foot of gravel in. Well, shit, that's gonna be a lot of gravel we're gonna put in that thing, you know? And there's grades, there's things that should be set and done to make sure that we spend the least amount of money on a parking lot that's only gonna be used twice a year from what I heard at the one meeting. So I think all those things are important for us as a public to see, because I don't know, some of us are gonna go, wait, we're gonna come to every meeting and try to learn as much as we can. And I think your agendas and your things need to be, motions need to be better, specifically stated on what you're spending and doing, and then we can just read and understand what's going on in our town, why our taxes are being spent on what we have. I think the fire chief and the police chief do an excellent job telling us what they're doing. I don't have any, I know what's going on in our fire department, I know what's going on in our police department every time I come to a meeting, but I don't know what's going on with our roads or anything else, which is a huge budget item. So I don't want our tax dollars just being thrown out the door, and I don't even know who these committees, you know, somebody asked, well, who's on there? We just said, number 16, consideration and possible action for a chairperson's appointment. Who are those people? I move that Joe Blow is on this committee. Who are those people? We'd like to know that. That should be all part in your minutes so we know who those people are. So that if we have a problem, we can call those people. I don't know who any of those people are. So I think we need to clean up all that stuff and be harder. I mean, I know it's a tough job, but it's easier for us to read and see then we don't have to come to all the meetings, or we can come when we know, hey, this is an important item, so.
Thank you.
I'll make a motion, we adjourn.
But we have future agenda items. You gotta hold on. All right.
Well, then vote no.
All right, you have future agenda items, Lisa.
This is just to, get that one to, this is the possible road construction for this year. If you guys can all take that and look at it over the next few weeks here in May, you guys need to decide what's being done in 2024. So take that and go from there.
Okay. Any other future agenda items? Okay, all right, Bill, you're up.
I'll make a motion to, we adjourn.
Is there a second?
I second.
Okay, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye.